Good morning everyone and welcome to Sunday. I am back down in my studio finishing off the next piece for my slow stitched anthology, which is Visitors to the Cottage Garden. So what I've decided to do this morning after battling away yesterday is I'm actually going to renew all of my needles. So I've got out my little sharps container here and I have thrown away all of my needles that I was using yesterday, apart from two that have thread in them, and I'm going to get some new ones because it's just time. So I thought I'd show you what I use. These are the ones I probably use the most. These are just birch straw needles. Let me just flip that over so that you can focus. Birch straw needles from just from Spotlight. They're not expensive. I'm going to get 4 of those little sausages out. So they fit most of the threads. Oh, they're so much sharper. Most of the threads that I like. I do have a couple of these quilt basting needles. So I'm going to just maybe take one of these and pop him away. I don't use them very much because the eye is so fine. And then finally I have some DMC needles, which are these big suckers. So they're good, but obviously you can only use them if the size of the needle itself isn't going to destroy your fabric. So I'm going to have one of those out. Actually, I've got 2 there, so I'm going to take two of those out. And I've actually just thrown away, with gay abandon, the others, because yesterday my hands were actually sore. So let's crack on. This is what I ended up with after yesterday's little session. So I've changed my bluebird. My Laura Ashley bird is gone. It didn't work. I wasn't loving him at the end. It was just too much of the same. So I've put this beautiful little brown guy in, and that makes me much happier. And then this little blue one has just tucked itself in here. I have a few things left to stitch on. I've gone around and, let me just see if you can focus, I have needle turn applique around my beautiful deer, and then just a running stitch. I want it raw at the bottom. My little fox is here ready. I have a bee and a squirrel. I put a little bit of green trim through there. I've pinned on my other visiting people. So I've got a couple of little bees and a butterfly to go. So I'm yet to decide if I need to add anything else. So today we're going to finish doing this needle turn applique, and then I'm going to dunk the whole thing in a tea dye. So I'm going to show you how I do that. It is a very weak tea dye that I've created. I just want to bring it down because you can see this is my Through the Garden Gate with my Roll Like Cottage not stitched on, but my Through the Garden Gate, and you can see these are going to be next to each other. I just need to bring that white down, and it literally will be an in and out and a rinse, and that will make a massive difference, you will see. So let's make a start. I've got new needles. How exciting. So I'm going to start with, let's start at the bottom and work our way up. Let's start with our little fox. I'll take this little guy off so that I don't lose him. And I'm using these little embroidery pins, which are amazing, which I should probably use more often when I'm doing little things. Let's start with a new needle. How wonderful does that feel? So for this, it really doesn't matter what you use. I'm going to use some brown threads because I would quite like to see a little bit of the brown thread around the side. I'm not too worried about making it invisible stitching. Okay, where's my thimble? I definitely need a thimble to push through all of these layers. So I'm going to put Through the Garden Gate away over here. I'm going to bring this little guy to the center. So, happy Sunday. I can't think of a better way to spend a Sunday than stitching down a random fox onto an old built bit of quilt. Can you? So I don't try to be perfect with my needle turn applique, and the main reason for that is I'm not very good at it, but I actually like the naive sort of look, so I don't have to try very hard to get it, because that's just how it turns out. Alright, so I don't need to go through all of the layers for this guy. I'll go through for probably every third one because I like the feeling that it's all quilted in. I actually want that to be around this side like that. Come on. Sunday morning trains. And it is hot and revolting, so I am sewing with my togs on, and I will be taking breaks to have a swim. If I didn't have my aircon, I would not be down here. There's absolutely no way. It's like a little sauna. So I'm very lucky this year that after we got flooded, we made the decision to spend some money and get some little make it a lot more habitable, sorry, down here. So I'm just going to lift him up. I don't want to take him off. He was really hard to get on. So this little guy's off some fabric that I picked up at the Nest in Brisbane, which is a fabric craft haberdashery op shop, which is in the north side of Brisbane. If you haven't found it, it is fabulous. They've got wonderful value. Everything's recycled, kept all out of landfill, and as a crafter or a sewer, you know, it's a destination because that's all they have, and you know that you're not, you know, some op shops you go in, they have lots of stuff, some have absolutely nothing, so you can go there knowing that that is a destination. And of course, if you're in Sydney, you have the Sewing Basket, a couple of those big op shops, which are sort of a chain of 3, I think. But so far, we just have that one little guy in Brisbane. And if you don't know Australia, I am north of Brisbane by about 4 hours direct north driving, straight up the east coast. So it is Sunday, what is it, must be the 25th, because tomorrow is Australia Day. So I've got the morning doing this guy, dunking him, waiting for him to dry. And I need to get on with my Roxy's General Stitchery because I'm a page behind, and they launched the new page tonight. That's the last one for that book. So I need to catch up with my book about Angus. And I need to set up a little creative pause pack for myself for work, which I keep in my office. And I'll show you how I do that as well. I might do a little video on that actually. And it's not part of a project it's just a little thing on its own to give me a little bit of a moment to reset myself when things get a bit full on, which they do in my job sometimes. So far on here, I think I've got everything from really old vintage quilt blocks to beautiful vintage linens. This is a fabric, it's not like a linen, like a house linen, to reclaimed Suffolk puffs and doilies, and then some new fabric, which this little blue guy is off a French General, and I'm not sure where he's from, but look at how beautiful he is. And I just needed that bit of brown. It was all just a bit pinky winky, overwhelmingly gelato for me, so I think I'll feel better when it's dyed down. And again, there are some parts of it that are the right colour already, and I could have dyed the individual parts, but I didn't know what I wanted, so it won't all look the same when it comes out because some parts are already darker with age, so it won't make it bland either. I literally just want to bring down these bits that are really light. So what I tend to do when I get a bit of a haul or a bit of a between project moments is I kind of go and find a whole heap of doilies and cut them in half and tea dye one half of them, so that I've got a stash that I can work with. But I kind of used all them, so I need to find a moment in my creative schedule to do that again. So at the moment I'm kind of just dyeing as I go. So this is quite a thick needle, but I have to go through, this is a full quilt block with wadding. This is a reclaimed quilt block with seams that are very tightly hand sewn. And then I've got the folded width of a sewing fabric, like a quilting fabric on top. So a basting needle is never going to make it through there without either breaking, bending, or slipping and stabbing myself. So that is why I use these straw needles. I'm going to just do one more, and then I'm going to tuck in that sticky out bit. I'm getting better with my needle turn applique. It's like anything, when you first start, your hands just feel completely wonky. So we just get your needle, shove him under there like that. Okay. I'm just going to go straight up to that corner, and I'm not I don't want this as a perfect shape. I want that little corner to be a little bit off like that. Perfect. So what are you doing for the long weekend? Australia Day is it's a bit controversial here in Australia. I'm not going to go into any of that, but my children are all, my youngest is 17, nearly 18. They all have partners, so they kind of all do their own thing on Australia Day. There's a tradition to listen to. There's a radio station here that does something called the Hot 100 that, the young people, it's a tradition to listen to on Australia Day. So I imagine that they might even be getting together to do that. But I will be spending tomorrow preparing for my week's teaching. So I've got a bonus day, that's why I'm looking at it. I won't be celebrating Australia Day, but I have a bonus day where I can have today for stitching and tomorrow for some more prep for the week. And it means that our first week back is a 4-day week, which is a lovely softer start for us and for the little people who've probably not had to get up and get going over the holidays. And see, I've got that little bit of brown showing, which I'm actually deliberately doing. I like that. I do a mixture depending. And I went and got myself some more of these friction, where's the other one? Felt pens yesterday. These ones. Because they've got like it's a felt tip and they're so much easier to draw on with. But I didn't make the mistake of what I did last time when I chose a colour that I often sew in, so I couldn't see where it was. I've chosen purple, which I hardly ever use, and red. I'm hoping that will make them more visible to me when I'm stitching. I love this little fox. This fabric's beautiful. It's really different. There's two pieces. One is, let me just show you. One is kind of just a bigger scale, but they're different. So this is from the same one, you can see. And then this is the same brand, but a slightly different pattern. So I have those deer there. I wasn't sure if I was going to use those. It is worth spending the money and getting some little embroidery pins, or applique pins, I think they're called actually, not embroidery. Why would you need pins for embroidery? So my dog has found the coolest spot. Straight ahead of me is, I've got kind of two rooms with like an archway between them, and the air conditioner is in the far wall, so around the corner. So she just lies on the concrete in front. It's probably the coolest spot in the whole house. So I haven't done a lot of thread painting on this. It's not my favourite thing to do. I do like doing decorative stitching, but I find thread painting just a bit laborious for me, and a bit, I don't know, I've chosen an image, I want to see that image, and I kind of don't have the skill to do it the way that other people do. I haven't learnt how to do it, and I never like it when I do it. And when I did it for the Roxy's Journal of Stitchery quilt, it took me, seriously, I think it was 2 full days, and I just don't have that time. Okay, so I'm going to stay with this same brown thread, and I'm just going to go up the outside of this. And I'm literally just going to do like a whip stitch. But see how it's got a seam? I'm just going to make sure I include that seam like that. Can you see the seam? Like where is a bit of it? It is this bias. So all I've done is folded it in 3. So I've kind of done 1, 2, 3 like that to create a little fold. So I'm just making sure that my stitch cap catches that fold. I'm going to leave the bottom bit pokey uppy. Let's take you out. So once I have dipped this, I will probably do some more stitching, and then that stitching won't be tea dyed, but it will add and, you know, add some contrast. And the colours I use are all going to be vintage colours, so it will work. It'll work. Oh, it's hard to get through, but this little sausage. New needles make such a difference. Now I don't want this to get fatter at the top. Let me just grab my, sorry to reach across. Let me just grab that so I can poke it hard, straight down without blunting my needle. Without using my hand to pull, which my thumb still hurts when I do a lot of that. So I think I like him like that, a little bit flappy. So I'm going to do one up here to secure him. Oh, in there you. So I have a little bit, two more. These are both needle turn applique. These are just stitch on. So this is going to be pretty quick today. I think I want a different colour for him. So I'm just going to knock that off. Alrighty, there we go. So I still have, let's use up the thread that I have. I have a bit of a blue, and then I'm going to throw this needle away. It is a goner. It's an old one and it's horrible. So I might just use this to start around my bird. I don't think I'll have enough actually, so let's go. Do I want to use him here? I might do a circle. Let me just draw one. Do I want a circle or a square there? I think I want a circle. But do I want blue? This is the question. No, it'll be lost. What can I do you with? Alright, let's stitch this guy down here with the blue. Because I don't want a lot of contrast on him just yet, until I see what he looks like when he's tailored. Now, so I've got the back, I've got the needle point, and I've got the applique. So this is going to be a tough gig. I'm going to actually start up under here, I think, and give myself a bit of a crack at it. And I might just, let me just cut off the long end. I'll see how I go. I mightn't have to. I might just go under and stitch it to the needle point, because it's never going to go through all those layers without making my hand very sore. So I'm just going stitching it to the needle point, and the needle point is not going anywhere. So this isn't a feature stitch, this is just an architectural stay where you're supposed to be stitch. Using the table instead of my hand to push it on. Oh, come on. Stick him back on. And I will go all the way through with this one. Take that pin out, that's bothering me. So next time I go to Spotlight, I'm also going to buy new pins, and I'm going to throw them all away. It's time, it's time. And I do sharpen my needles, like I have my little tomato, but there just comes a time when they're done. And you realise that when you use a new one. It's a bit like when you get a new car and you think, oh yeah, okay, it was a heap of crap, the old one. I'm just stitching this in place. It's actually going through really easily because it's new. Needles, like everything else, have a lifespan. Right, I'm going to finish that there. Oh my goodness. Okay, tie it up on the back. Don't look at the back, look away. And I'm going to take that bit out, and this, actually this is the old needle and it worked really well, so actually I might keep you. You're not as bad as the others, so I might keep you. You might have been a newer one. Maybe it's a placebo effect, who knows. Okay. Just grab a drink, sorry. So I think this guy, I want him in a thick brown. I think I want him in this, because I want that to stand out. So let's just cut you. I'm coming to the end of this. I got this at Vinnie's and I've used it a lot, so I'm going to have to take it with me when I go to Spotlight next and get a new one, because it's a colour and a thickness that is really good. It's just sometimes a bugger to thread. Let's do that. This one. So I'm literally going to use the circle that I drew and do a running stitch. I might do 2 rows. I'll see how I feel once I've got 1 row. Come on. And it's going to be a single stitch at a time situation, I think. I'm not doing a back stitch, I don't think. Let me just see. Maybe I will, I'm not sure yet. I went a bit far then, didn't I? Because I was trying to hurry up. You can hear that noise through, that's my fan, because it's still hot even with the aircon on, until this room cools down a bit. So I don't intend on putting sashing between these, I don't think. I think they're just going to be next to each other, but I'm not going to make those decisions until I've finished all of my panels, all of my little pieces of Anthology. So I'll lift him up. There's a freight train going past, they're very noisy sometimes. Now there's one driver, and I swear he must have an ex-girlfriend or something in Bundaberg that he doesn't like, because I swear that he presses his horn from one side to the other, and it's usually about 4:20 in the morning. So I don't know whether he's just really bored or whether he has a mortal enemy living in Bundaberg. But it's only a couple of times a week, but it's like, oh my goodness, buddy. Go through there. So I'm just going to have to turn this fan round onto me because it's hot. I do find when it's thick, when you've got lots of layers, if you can go straight up and down does really make a difference. So if you can push straight up, you know, put your needle in straight like that, and then use something, a table or something to help you just push straight up. Because otherwise when you're pushing and tugging, you pull things off center. And then you end up with things not being where you want them. Hope that fan is not too loud. So people are using all sorts of ideas for their Roxy's project, which is interesting. Lots of people using magazines, art books. Some people are using their own quilts as motivation, as inspiration, sorry. Let's have a little look at him and decide what he needs. I think I'm quite happy with him as he is. I quite like that. Can you see? There he is. Take his little pin out. I'll look after them because they're very expensive. Very, very easy to lose when you're a messy person like me. Okay, so I might tie that off, and I'm going to use this same brown to whip stitch my bird in place. So sort of like needle turn applique, but you know, not. So I did leave quite a bit of room around him just because I felt like I needed somewhere to rest my eye. It all got a bit much. So I'm going to start possibly here. So it's going to kind of be like a whip stitch slash needle turn applique. Probably a little bit more of a stitch visible than you would normally have. And I don't want any corners, I want it round. There we go. We're in a square block, we need it to be round. And it's very easy, I'm only going through the quilt here, which is good. So I've been looking at the crazy weather around the place. I see Russia's had incredible snow. New Zealand's had awful landslides. And we're just hot. I mean, we've had bushfires down south, we've had flooding. But Bundy is okay at the moment, which is very lucky. Don't want that's a little bit pointy, there we go. So I'm not trying to be even with this, I'm deliberately trying to be uneven. And sometimes when you get into a bit of rhythm, you've got to actually make yourself deliberately do some uneven stitches. I don't want them straight. I'm not happy with the red stitching there on the leaf. I don't have any red wool and I don't have any red silk ribbon. So I did get this out. I thought I might just do something with this. Just need that extra bit of strength in colour up the top there. Okay. Yeah, I'm happy with that, that's good. And you know, this piece I'm just going to let speak for itself. It's awesome. I love it. The work of another creator has been resurrected. And I am going all the way through because I want that look that it's quilted on. You can tell, you know, maybe it's just me. You can see this is a purple line that I drew on, but I went a bit rounder than that. So I want this one to be a little bit less of a bite. Yeah. Out of my bird. Oh, come on. So when I iron it, it will just disappear. So this symbol that I'm wearing is good. You can see I'm probably not pushing with it, but it's really good for gripping as well. And when you use the basting needles, they really hurt your fingers. I don't know if you've ever used them, but they're so fine. They literally just slide into your skin so easily. I've learnt the hard way to just wear it, and I don't even notice I'm wearing it now. Somehow I've managed to not attach that to anything. I'm just going to stop and pin so that I'm not going to end up with a big pucker, which I don't want. I need a longer pin. Sometimes you just can't get rid of a point. Let me see. Come here, you. I don't want a point there. Go away, Mr. Point. Still a bit of a point. See, it's still a point there. I don't like it. Let me just finger fold and finger iron him a bit more. There we, oh, now I've just moved the point. There we go, got it, I think, have I? Except it's back. Oh look, maybe I'm going to have to live with it. Maybe only I can see it and it won't be a problem. I'll go in there, yeah. Okay. I don't think that changed anything, but anyway. Yeah, I'll see if I can fix it when I get to it. Hey, just sew it down so it cannot move. So I'm getting a bit of a buckle there, so I'm just going to pin that at that. Look, I'm just going to have to live with it, I think. I really don't want to spend that much time stressing about it. Slow it down for this bit. I'm not going to embellish this bird, I just like him as he is. And it's in the middle and you can't reach it to hold it in place. It's not going to beat me. Let's just go. Oh, come on. Of course. There we go. Let's see if I can get him in this stitch, because this is the one. Oh, sorry, I just headbutted the camera. Kind of went past him, so I can come back. I may or may not have a little bit of a buckle there, but we'll see. I'm kind of just pushing my stitch in under him, so if there is a bit of a pointy bit, I can kind of just pull it back under itself. There we go. Alright, let's see what I'm left with after that little bit of a wrestle. Yeah, that's good. Happy with that. And I just don't want to be creating a big blobby bit. So our lovely cottage garden has some deer who come to visit. It has a squirrel or two. It has lots of butterflies and bees. Look, it might have a hedgehog, I think. But I'm kind of thinking about how to make that all work together when my characters are animals, but I don't think that matters. I don't want to go, I caught him. Yep, that's going on really nicely now. And that bit of red and stuff is just going to come off when I iron. Just smoothing as I stitch to keep him in place. And I'm going to have a little mouse is what I need to. I've got some little embroidery templates there that I might use. I've put them in my Pinterest group for this, and they're just free ones from online that are, you know, copyright free. So I've put a few little things there that you might be able to use if you're doing a cottage garden visitors. All sorts of little animals. I've included some Australian animals if you're interested in doing the Australian animals, and that's just free. I think the link is in my, I'll pop the link underneath this video, but the link's certainly at the top. And it's just free. You can use whatever you want under there. They're under categories, so you'll see it says Railway Cottage Anthology, and then it's got each of the, well, a couple of the themes up already. This one is obviously the Cottage Garden Visitors. So you can go in there and get some inspiration if you need a little bit more inspiration of who to add. It's very easy when you just get to one quilt. See how now I'm accidentally going straight? So let's stop that straight away. Let's put this one a bit crooked. In the seam, gosh, that's always hard in the seam. Where am I? Alright, this one's going on really well. So he's going to be ready to dunk in no time. I've got my tea dye cooling down so that I don't burn myself. And I've done probably a litre of water with just 3 tea bags. So it's not a very strong tea dye. Like I said, it's just going to be more like a tea wash if there was such a thing. Oh, come on you. I have this thing called trigger finger where my middle index finger on my left hand will get stuck when it's straight out. So if you see me doing something weird with my hand, it's because it's locked into place and I have to release it. And it's not painful, it's just really uncomfortable. A bit like a cramp without the pain. I have to kind of give it a bit of a shove to do it, which is really odd. I'm just going to tie that off because I left too little thread. I'm going to do it that way. Okay, let's get some more brown. It's looking great. So my anthology is going to be, at this point, I'm going to do it as a panel. So I'm going to join these pieces next to each other. And I think I'm doing 4x3, and then I'm going to do a border all around that of a not collaged, appliqued and embroidered map of, let me try that again, map of Bundadoon, probably, you know, the little place where the railway cottage is, and this will not go through. Come on, you. It's too early in the day to be hard to thread. Come on, have I got it? I'm just having this today. And then I'm going to do a topper, like I'll show you. I've got it set up. And it's white, so it's going to just blind you for a second. But basically, just wait for the glare to, let me zoom you out. So there's my Through the Garden Gate, Garden Visitors, Kitchen Garden, Cottage Kitchen. These are all the different themes that we have. So then Cottage Correspondence, Railway Cottage Dreaming, Station Master's Desk, Lost Luggage, On the Platform, Rusty Rail Relics, Engine Driver's Apron and Ticket to Ride. So I'm going to put them like that. Then this is going to be my border. So this is actually done to scale so I can get an idea of what it's going to look like. So I'm going to have a border all the way around, which is going to be like a hand embroidered and appliqued map, and then I'm going to put a top like this, topper at the top. Can you see? So that's what I will end up with. That's the plan at this stage. Of course, you can always sew them to a journal or sew them next to each other to do like a long sort of roll out thingy, whatever you want to call it. I'm just going to take this guy off while I carry on underneath. God, remember those movies, the Carry On movies? How awful were they? Imagine them now, how they'd be received. Just Nearly there. Let's see if we can take a bit of a speedy. Oh, come on. So then we're going to meet the next character in our series very soon. So I think I'm just debating. So the next one is a country kitchen. That's our next one. But I think I'm just debating whether we're going to meet Mrs. McBride, who is Morag McBride, who is Angus's wife, or whether we're going to meet our gardener next, because obviously we're in the cottage. Well, actually we'll do the garden next because we're going to be in the kitchen garden next, like the little potager. But they're not posh, so they're going to call it a kitchen garden. Yeah. Just like, I love the thing when I lived in the UK where everyone had their little allotments. I thought it was wonderful. It's something that I've never seen anywhere else. Alright, we're nearly there. If you've hung in this far, well done. Fast forward if you're not bored already. Sorry. Oh. It's hard to get through because this particular needlepoint is very, very finely stitched with like a cotton rather than a wool. But I'm nearly there. And I do have strong hands, so I'm okay. Where are we? Okay. So yes, I'll probably do the next book about our lovely gardener that we can learn about. So there's 6 books in the Roxy series, so I've got 6 little characters all ready to meet, all of whom are part of Railway Cottage Anthology life, day in, day out. So after we've done this, I'm going to stitch on my butterflies, which won't take very long. I've got one little bit of needle turn applique to do on my bee, where I'm up to 42 minutes. I'm trying to limit it to an hour. I get a bit carried away. Gosh, that's hard there. One more and we are finished. Fantastic. Alright, I can take him out. I'm not going to use the brown for anything else just now. I'll take it off. Two would probably be enough with that thread, but I'm going to do 3. Okay, let's see what we are left with. I'm just going to put my iron down flat so it turns on. And the best thing I ever did was get an iron that turns itself off, because I'm terrible at forgetting that it's on. Alrighty, so this little guy was popping in here, I think, was he? Just like that. I might just put him up there so we get a bit of a, well, there's a neat pin, I mean. Did I get it? No, I didn't. Come out of there, you. There it is. I'll do him last. Okay, so let's do my little white flower here. So I'm just going to do that with a cream thread, this guy. Actually, because this is such a, I don't have a lot of room there, so I'm going to use a finer thread and a finer needle. I'll get this guy, which is much finer. What's that, 20 grams, is that, Tommy? It is a 40 and that is a 10. So I don't know what that means, but I know it's thinner. So I'm going to use that one. And I'm still going to have to use, I don't know that my basting needle would get through there. Let's try it. Let's give it a crack because I don't want to shred the edges with my bigger needle. Let's just see if that will work. Oops, missed it. I'm definitely putting that little guy on. So I'm just trying to pin this into place. I'm not looking to create any sort of decorative stitch yet. I'm just going to do a couple of stitches. Actually, that's going through there, no problem, which is good. As long as you go straight. Maybe the new needle is being a little bit more forgiving for me. Actually, I quite like that, so I'm going to just continue that. I started in the middle because I didn't think I would be doing more, but I'm going to do another one there. Let me just zoom in. You can't really see what I'm doing. You can see I've just done a couple of little tiny stitches. And see, this will come up different because obviously the white will take the tea dye differently than this cream cotton thread will, because it already is a cream colour. So I'll still get a bit of a contrast. All right, let's go back here now. So I'm just following the line of the vein of the leaf, basically. It tight all the way, so I'm just going to run a couple right next to that green stem. I just stitched my finger underneath. And you can see when you go all the way through, you can pull it down, it looks so much better. This needle's fine if I go straight. If I even go a little bit crooked, it bends. So I'm going to go up the stem again. Just a little one. I love the point where everything's sewn on and you can take all your pins out and see what you actually have before you decide where to embellish. That's good. I'm just going to pull my thread back here. The back doesn't matter, you're not going to see it. And again, just along the stem, that tight. I'm going to give this guy a bit of just a little bit of a bend. I think I don't want him completely flat. I'm not going to stitch him completely flat. I want him to just kind of be like that. You can see I'm just kind of pushing him back with my thumb. And then I'm going to continue with this thread, and actually, you know what, I'm going to use red around him. I'm going to stitch some stitches through this guy just to hold him down. And again, just in the direction of the pattern of the flower, so they kind of just disappear. It's a beautiful little applique flower. My needle is coping so well. Okay, so far so good. I'll go over here and just give my stem again a bit of support, like that. And I'm not going to do any, I might do one stitch just here on the inside of this guy. Because when I join these together, these can go over the side, if you know what I mean. So that's all good. I can take you out. All the others need to stay. I'm just going to go back here. So I've just splodged all the way across the back, does not matter. So again, I'm going to just go into my flower, just do a couple of little stitches that kind of disappear into the design. It won't stick out at all. This is a very strong thread, it's not going anywhere. So just spreading them out evenly. He's quite lovely, I don't need to do anything else to him other than make him a bit browner, obviously. Okay, he's coming along really nicely. I think that's the last pin in my little bit of applique. Isn't it nice when they're stitched down? I haven't done my bird yet. My video is longer than I planned, sorry about that. What I might do is I might pause you there. I might finish all this, because I still have to do, where are we up to? We're up to, oh, let's give it 10 more minutes. Let's see what I can do in 10 minutes. Because I'd like to do it all in one video if I can. That's all good. I might just bring that thread down here. And I'm just going to go through the white bits here. And again, I don't necessarily want anything as a decorative thing here. I just want stitched in place, and I want it just quite loose. So I'm just going to do 3 stitches up each side in the white bit. And then it will be lifty offy, which is good. I don't want a flat piece. Ow, that was my finger, that hurt. That's right, I'm a ninja, I moved out of the way fast enough. It just got me a little bit. No blood on my applique. Oops, come on little guy, where have I nodded you? Okay. More speed, less haste, is that what they say? Right, he's nearly on. What do you think about the squirrel? What will I do him in? Okay, he can come out. So I have, what have I got? What do I have left to do? I put my bird, my squirrel. I've got to sew my little mushroom on. This guy up here, I'm going to do in red. Let's do him first. And I think that will take me up to an hour. And then I might bring you back after I have tea dyed. I'm literally going to dip it in and dip him out. So I have a red all ready to go, which is why I chose red, and also because it needs a bit of red up there. So this is a thicker needle because I'm going through 150 million layers here. And sometimes a finer needle does that okay, but it really does depend. Perfect, just what I wanted. Just go under that pin. Oh, what are you working on? Are you joining me on this, or are you working on something else while I sew away? It's nice just to have a bit of company, I think. Looking forward to Corinne from To Be Loved Treasures has organised a retreat. She does a couple every year actually, in the July school holidays, and I'm really looking forward to that. I went last year and it was wonderful. Just to have some creative friends in real life, because, you know, regional Queensland, we kind of don't have a big community up here where I am. So, you know, if you're looking for somewhere to move to, think about Bundaberg, because I could use some slow stitchy friends. Oops. Jeez. That's a lot of layers. It's not going anywhere now. That's my little bee, and I really do like to alternate the shapes, and whether it's fussy cut and needle turn applique around the shape, or whether it's just a random little tile like this. I really like that look. A lot of the French ladies do tiled sort of applique, and I really like it. A little bit of a less of a bite on this one. Too much there. I don't know, should I keep going? I could probably... I didn't actually catch it on the way up, I was distracted, so I'm just going to pop it under through there now. You can see why I didn't stitch the edges of the leaves down, because I need to get underneath. Again, I don't want puffy, so I'm just kind of pushing it flat with my thumb as I'm stitching in that part. Thumb turn applique. What I might do is I might go and get my tea dye and I'll show you. Maybe we just keep going. We're nearly there, aren't we? Because after I tea dye, I have to let it dry, so I can't sew on it for a little bit. I do just put it out in the sun here, it doesn't take very long, but I love this little red guy. He's looking great. Like that. Sometimes you just gotta go with it and not overthink things. Oh, the other thing that I've got here to stitch on, which I haven't yet, is this basket. Kind of looks like someone was out in the garden picking flowers and it's just popped out of the scene. So I'm not sure where I want that yet. It might be one of the last things to go on, and I can always tea dye that separately if I want to. So, or I might like the contrast because it's already looking vintagey. It's not white. So I might pop him in the tea dye. Imagine lots of people are running around doing back to school. This is the first, well, it's my second year I haven't had to get a child ready for school. Just kind of, it's part of your life for so long and then it's not, hey. It's funny how that happens. Right. So let's have a look, and I might just stop stitching. So there is, and let's zoom it out, hold on. Let's see what we can do. So zoom it out. So this is where I'm up to. I have this little guy to do. I have my blue butterflies and this light little white butterfly, my squirrel, and then I have this little bit of something that I think probably goes, is it right, son? Probably goes about there. And I'll get my tea dye and show you. Hold on. This is my tea dye pot that I keep down here just for tea dye. You can see it's not a very thick, it's not a very dark tea dye. Let's just do a little bit and I'll show you how dark it is. And I'm literally going to, so this is already quite a creamy colour. Sorry, I've just messed with the vision there with the light. So if we just dip, and we're going to do an immediate wash, and it's going to be a very gentle tea dye. So I'm kind of just going to bring it down about 4 shades, I think. I'm going to leave that in there now so it can go dark. And obviously the longer you leave it in, the darker it will get. So I'm just going to pop a few things in there to stay in there while I finish stitching, because I want different things to be different depths of colour. So what I have yet to do, stitch those two down. We're going to find a home for this somewhere. That might be my last thing. Iron all this bits off. Then I'm going to dip it, let it dry, and then I will come back and we'll do the decorative stitching in the last layer together. So thanks so much if you've hung in this far. Thank you so much. If you're making something, if you are joining in, please put in the hashtag Railway Cottage Anthology so we can see it. Pop it on Instagram or on here on YouTube, or join my Facebook group, which is Railway Cottage Journal. Railway Cottage Junction. Pop over there and just say, yes please, can I be a member, and I'll approve you and we can share what we're making. So thank you so much, and I will see you again soon.